Yo.
Yeah. What's going on, guys?
You know what's going on. It's getting nasty in these streets is what's going on.
It's getting ugly.
Yeah.
These folks is playing way too dirty. They hitting below the belt. They ain't right.
Show me your papers.
They ain't right.
Show me your papers. You show me your papers.
And this morning, guys,
Everybody
when I saw this
papers.
stuff flash up on, YouTube, I was like, oh my God, look at all these stories. I had to get myself together because I was so frustrated and so messed up this morning. I didn't even want to watch it because I just saw the title. And if I knew I started my day off with this negative news, boy, my energy was going to be, I wasn't going to be too happy.
She don't even let me say anything negative to 12:02.
Hello. That
So
throws your day off.
So 12:01, I'm like this.
I'm like, no, at 11:59, he's standing there waiting. Like, okay, it's 12.
Let me tell you about this dream I had. Did you see this on the news?
Oh my God!
And then in her car ride today, she was like, indicted.
Right? No, sir. That's why I was like, no, I gotta wait till I listen to this.
Oh man. Okay. So I know y'all have seen what's going on in the news about the indictment, which is on the same day as old Biden, on the same day
That the Republican Party was gonna slam them.
him, and they're gonna do it. He did it on the same. You know why? Because insiders. You always have an insider that go ahead and tip you off, so y'all can go ahead and be prepared.
Now, that was the plan.
It's like watching football highlights. It's like
But let's not go
it's
too
like
deep.
you practice for football practice, and you have somebody from the other team watching your plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
Let's not go too deep, because let's go.
I am so livid right now.
That's how I feel.
I am furious. I have spent over 3 decades in a system that I
Look good for
believe
that
in.
long.
I'm a believer.
Go ahead, Mom.
But today, I am no longer a believer. What you've got is a weaponized Department of Justice, Department of FBI, and CIA. We saw it from the time he came down that escalator. They started with a Russia collusion hoax, and we know that Hillary Clinton made it up. She even told a president, the Durham report. She told Biden and she told Obama she was going to do it to get rid of her email scandal. So what did they do? The FBI lied. They went to a FISA court judge. They lied 3 more times. They needed to get this guy. And then they violated the Fourth Amendment rights of one American and spied on a presidential candidate. And we now know it was all a hoax started by Hillary Clinton. But that wasn't enough. Then what we had is the FBI telling social media, you can expect that there's going to be Russian disinformation in the form of a Hunter Biden laptop. And that's when they interfered with the presidential election for the second time. And 51 CIA intelligence agents. So we've got the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA say, oh, this is Russian disinformation, when we know damn well it wasn't Russian disinformation. And now what you've got is a loser prosecutor, Jack Smith, who's been slapped down by the United States Supreme Court in one of his prosecutions, that if I were a lawyer, I would give up my law license. I'd be so embarrassed hiding under a rock.
Wow.
He's the one who prosecuted John Edwards. He's got a political agenda. And this is all over a Presidential Records Act, which is a civil suit, a civil issue.
That's the point.
Okay.
This ain't even criminal.
Yeah.
He's even protected under this act for the president.
Yeah.
And then not only they all have had documents. Clinton, Obama, Bush. Bro.
So is it like when you leave your job and you be like, I always wanted that stapler. They be like, yeah, man, you retired, man. Take the stapler. Is it like that? Yeah,
Well,
you get that stapler.
Well, I don't, not necessarily, because according to what they're saying about the federal, it's called the President's Federal, I think, Defense Act, something like information, something like that. I wrote it down.
Okay.
And they're saying that's kind of what protects them. All of the presidents take documents home, but they're supposed to declassify them when they leave office. They can take certain documents.
What is declassify?
I guess
the document?
Right out, maybe mark out all the stuff that's
with a little red highlighter.
Black. They use the black marker like in the movies.
And like,
and they declassify all the information, I guess, so it makes it okay to have at your house. But then when they talk about some of these past presidents, they've had this stuff not at their house. It was somewhere else.
My question is, what do the presidents in general do with the documentation when they take it home?
I don't know.
What do any
there.
of them do with it?
I mean, I guess it's there for them. It's crazy. That's how you know this was a scheme to try to thwart him running. I know it is. That's it. But she broke this thing down.
I bet all them documents are like an almanac. You be like, man, I could tell what's going to happen in the next 10 years on this with this information.
And so what they do is they put out this narrative indictment. Oh, this is a story of wrongdoing, national defense. And let's put in espionage. We can kind of tie it into the Russian collusion. So people will say, oh, it could have been the Russians. This is nonsense. And I want to know, how many documents were altered? How many documents were destroyed? Zero. But who destroyed 33,000 documents that she lied about over and over again? Hillary Clinton. She destroyed them. That was tampering with evidence. That was obstruction of justice. And did the DOJ, the FBI care? They didn't give a damn. But now they care. What are they so afraid of? Let him run for office. And if he loses, then that's the end of it.
That's
I hate a country that is akin to a third world country. This is a banana republic. When you indict one guy running for president and the guy who's doing it is some old geezer who says,
man, she's saying, but hold on, you're going to miss the point. Nuh-uh.
I don't know anything about it. The day, by the way, the day that we finally get under threat of contempt of the head of the FBI, we finally get a 1023 from a credible FBI source. Credible, $200,000 worth of credibility the FBI paid him, saying Joe took $5 million, Hunter took $5 million from Ukraine. And I'm not done yet. I'll tell you something else.
Get it.
This whole thing with Ukraine, why the heck is everybody going to Ukraine? Why do we put billions and billions and billions of dollars into Ukraine?
True.
What the heck is going on over there? Randy Weingarten going to check out education. And Joe Biden goes over there in January of 2018, and he says, if you don't get the prosecutor off that company where my son makes $80,000 a month, and if you don't get rid of him, I'm not going to give you the $1 billion that the United States promised you. Well, Joe, that's called pay to play. It's an organized criminal enterprise that we have as a president and his family. They should be ashamed, and every American should be ashamed of what happened today.
That's right. Exactly.
And that's why that's the reason why so much money has been transferred over. There's one that they probably it's some that they probably justify to certain countries, but there's some that we like, why are these people getting 20 billion, 30 billion? Because it's based on his backing to bless him and his family. I keep saying that.
She laid it out on the line. This is exactly how I feel. This makes our country look weak as I don't know what.
Yeah.
Soon as they get the document, now you want to arrest Trump. How whack is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And like she said it clear. Let the man get a fair run.
Exactly.
If he don't win, then that's it. But let him get a fair run. Don't try to. They know he was gonna win. They're trying right. And they're trying their best to lock it in and probably push something to say, oh no, you excluded. You're not eligible to run.
That's right.
And I think what that's going to do, that's going to cause a big old economy problem. It's going to cause a big people problem, and people probably start cutting up if that man can't run. I really believe that it will be a problem.
I don't know. I just feel like it's really injustice, and now it's starting to make people, the citizens of the U.S., feel like, can you really trust the government? It's like, how can you really trust a system that is covering up bribery from the current president? There's proof. And now they want to pull up some non-existent charges. So don't nobody care about these classified documents. They all take them. Go out there and do your research, people. Many of the presidents have taken them. That's what they can do when their office is over. When their term is over, they take supposed to declassify them and then take them home. Supposedly, I guess, at home. But some of the presidents, they weren't even at there.
That's the stapler. I told her they're taking the stapler. You can take your stapler home. That's what it seems like.
Come on. This is absolutely unheard of.
Calm down. Jeannie?
I don't like corruption and injustice.
Jessica, I assume you agree with most of
Make
that?
us look weak as a country.
I was struck by a lot of what the judge just said.
She must be
mostly
on
the
the
fact
left
that
side.
she didn't address the documents that were panning across the screen, that there were documents found in the bathroom.
Who
In the
cares?
shower.
Obama had documents across the street from McDonald's in some building, the guy just said. Across the street from, so not even in his house.
What do they do with all that, though?
Bill Clinton had recordings that they found in his sock drawer. Recordings now of some phone call recordings. I mean, come on, please.
In the ballroom, in his bedroom,
Don't hit the keys like that.
in his office. That there were documents pertaining to our nuclear programs, pertaining
So
to
what?
our
Who cares?
weaknesses and our allies' weaknesses.
Boo.
What makes us vulnerable? Clearly a national security risk. What has been proven time and time again when it comes to this particular case is that Donald Trump and all of his supporters have been lying to us about what happened.
Child,
So first
please.
he went with
She's
everything was
obviously on the left.
declassified because he's magic and he could look
what
at
I
things and
said.
they become declassified. Now he's on tape admitting the fact that
Are
he's
we watching
showing
more of
people,
this?
Mark Meadows' team, when he's trying to do the
Yeah, I
book,
wanna-
a document
got the
that was
incest
still
and stuff,
classified
too.
and that he knows that he doesn't have the power to declassify it anymore because he's no longer president. He said they were properly secured. I don't think a toilet is a skiff. Maybe I'm wrong.
Better than a Corvette.
Yeah. Or
Here you go.
garage.
Misdirection. Misdirection. Just take.
Misdirection.
Yes,
She must
it
be a
is.
neo
Because, no, it's
Republican.
not. Because in the B block, we'll talk about Ukraine, and then I can hear about Viktor Shokin all over again.
She's a liberal
He also
Republican.
said that he complied with everything. We know he flouted
such
subpoenas,
thing.
and now we know that he
You're
asked
right.
his lawyers to get rid of things. It seems, and yes, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm decently smart. I know some viewers don't necessarily think that, but I'm telling you, and a few of my teachers would agree, that this seems like a pretty clear case of obstruction. And Jonathan Turley's been on our air all day talking about this and saying that these charges are the darlings of what they're looking for because they are easy to prove,
Please.
especially when you have pictures of them.
So if Hillary actually does get rid of things.
Here we go. This
Yeah.
has nothing to do with
It
Hillary
has
Clinton. No, it
everything
doesn't.
to do with
If you want to argue
Yes, it
and you
does.
want to talk about, again, the difference between gross negligence and extremely careless, a lot of people have that conversation. But today, you are looking at boxes of classified documents strewn across a public place, also that were transported to another location.
But how many boxes did Joe Biden have of documents that he's had for years? They said 6 years or more the man has had documents that weren't declassified. Okay.
I like
This is
how
what I don't understand.
I like how when we were when I was listening to some of this, not this one per se, another one, and it switched over to Trump out there playing golf. He was like, "I don't give a darn. I'm gonna be straight. Let y'all stress over there."
Even to the point
That man ain't going to
whoever
jail.
the family member who texts, I won't be able to
He
fit
is
all the
not going to
boxes
jail.
on the plane. Whatever shall we do? Come
Okay,
on,
Katie. But
this-
as the judge did say, these are presidential personal records, which he has the sole authority to make personal.
Exactly.
Just as the Bill Clinton sock drawer case proved, and just as an Obama judge ratified, that is the law. It's a civil situation. It's not criminal. So this is all nothing.
Well, and I'll tell you why it does matter, and it's not just deflection to talk about Hillary Clinton and to talk about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, the fact that classified documents.
Why don't they take these documents to their personal house? Like he had them in Mar-a-Lago. You said that that Obama had them across the street in McDonald's.
Because
Why
I
not
guess
just take them to the crib?
They're protected under the Presidential Record Act of Defense, where they have the right to be able to take them. And if they feel as though, if the government feels as though that they have too many, then it's a civil thing. They can say, well, no, you need to bring someone else back, but it has to be it's a civil complaint that they file, not criminal, because they all do it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That were taken by Joe Biden when he was a
you
senator
wanna see her part
ended
in
up
this, girl?
in
Go ahead,
his
babe. Just let it
garage,
play.
where
Just
Hunter
let it play.
Biden, who has a lengthy, shady record of engaging with people like, I don't know, hookers who are all over his laptop, shady
Chinese
foreign
spies.
figures, Chinese spies. There's no question about, whether he was possibly allowing them into the house when Joe Biden wasn't around, just sitting in the garage, not to mention he was making these foreign deals with shady figures who did not have the interests of the United States in mind. They have an interest of how they can bribe and make sure that their interests, whether it's for the Chinese Communist Party or for Ukraine, to be changed in their favor. The fact is that Hillary Clinton had a digital box of an unclassified or an unsecure server with classified information on it as a Secretary of State after she left that office in her bathroom. So if you want to talk about how this is all bad, sure, you should not mishandle classified information. But the double standard of justice in this country is becoming a serious problem, not for Donald Trump alone, but for everyday Americans who are looking at their federal government and going, it's being weaponized against people who disagree with the left. And we've seen that over and over and over again. And the Department of Justice puts out this indictment. It looks bad. They always do at the beginning. And then the narrative completely falls apart once there's a response days, weeks, months later from Trump and from the actual evidence that we see. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. We'll see what happens with the trial. But when it comes to the credibility of DOJ, because they've gone through this list of witch hunts, as the president says, for years, 8 years of this, over and over again with different situations, they have no credibility left. So even if these things are true in the indictment, nobody's going to believe it. And that's a problem for American democracy, as the left would say.
It was a grand jury verdict, though. This is the same thing. You're acting
But
as if it was just, and the jury wasn't
It's
full
not
of Andy McCabe, Peter Strzok, and George Soros.
It's just an
They were a
indictment.
jury of his peers.
It's just an indictment. It doesn't mean anything.
doesn't
It hasn't
change
even
the
gone to
history.
trial.
Wait a minute. The grand jury's a jury of his peers?
The people who were selected
Yeah,
for it.
well, you have a jury of your peers when they get to hear both sides.
Let's go,
Greg.
Mr. Daniel.
Yes, thank you. That
You're
is
welcome.
my name. This isn't, I think most people understand this isn't about breaking laws. It's about breaking Trump.
Exactly.
Even the charges are theatric. I mean, dozens of mini indictments. You know, basically like they just chopped up a candy bar into little bite-sized snacks. It's meant to exhaust and overwhelm not just Trump, but his supporters, right?
That's right.
It's meant to psychologically flood the zone up to the election to keep Trump's persuasive abilities at bay, to keep Trump's supporters occupied, to scare away donors, right?
Yep.
Nobody's going to want to give money if they think that he's going to go to jail. We know that this whole classified document stuff is a murky place.
That's
it's
right.
like everybody knows that. So this is like the choice to do this is definitely and only definitely a political one.
That's
the
right.
problem, though, is with this exhaustion strategy, you think it wears people down, but when you look at Trump supporters and Trump, it winds them up.
It does.
I don't think the Democrats or the media ever understood that concept or the bigger concept, which is always their problem. The concept of going too far.
Okay.
You know, they don't understand limits, right? So you have no limits in criminal justice reform. Where is that going? You have no limits on the woke gender nonsense, right? So when you come out against the surgical mutilation of children, they accuse you of being transphobic because they don't understand the limit. They don't understand. If you say you want a border, you're all xenophobic because they don't understand the limit. The persecution of Trump and not the prosecution is based on the fact that they have no limit.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Because they classified him as worse than Hitler. You can do anything. So you have leaks, piled up
That's an
charges,
emotional
an
response.
overwhelming antipathy toward Trump that is creating this relentless witch hunt, and you think that trotting out this stuff is going to alienate them? No. It just feeds their energy. When you're taking their candidate off the stage, do you think they're just going to walk away from that?
Exactly.
Taking their choice of president. 75 million people know what you're doing. It's not
That's
about
right.
Trump.
That's
it's
right.
about his voters.
That's
when
right.
you investigate Joe Biden, nobody cares about his voters. Nobody does. We know why they voted for Joe. They didn't like Trump. But you go after Trump,
He's
something
speaking
different happens.
facts.
You go after the people that support him.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
arrest your rival, you think that people think the election in 2020 was corrupt?
That's
you think they're
right.
going to buy the results of this? They are worsening a divide, right? They're pouring salt on a wound because they don't care about the people. They only care about the politics.
Themselves,
And
that's
that's
right.
all I got to say.
Well said, everybody.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Look, when he said everybody was like this.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. I mean, he and Judge Jeannie, they hit it on the nail on the head. And it's a shame. This really makes you look at the government like, where's the trust? The trust, factor just keeps going down and down and down and down.
My concern is, just like he said on the end, it's the supporters. So if you take him out the race and the wound is still on the January 6th side, you pull him out of the race, you're going to have a huge problem. It's going to be a huge problem if they pull that man. I promise you. That is one thing where I know it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, I hope they don't, because
I hope they don't pull him either.
This is unheard of. If they do, they better pull Joe too.
They better pull him.
They better lock him. They need to go ahead and impeach him. He should have been gone.
Yeah.
He should have been gone.
It would be a big deal. It would be a big deal, and they would have to do something, because people, I don't know what people would get buck. It would get buck.
Because they see what the government is doing. How coincidentally? It's no coincidence.
Ain't no coincidence.
We see what's going on.
We see y'all bucking.
But they spoke to how I felt, and we had to react to this, because this is crazy.
Yeah, they are really trying to put Trump out the way. You know what they're trying to do, Joel? And I think about it, they're trying to Andrew Tate him. Mm-hmm. You notice when they took away Andrew Tate, he got locked up. All his hype had calmed down. Even though there's still levels of hype that he does recent things, it's nothing like when he was before they silenced him.
He's been low key himself.
Yeah.
He hadn't been putting himself back out there. He just released this video where I think it was called
BSN.
BSN. So yeah, he's gradually being smart.
Yeah.
He's being smarter.
But it was a silencing.
But let's talk about this on the live.
Okay,
we don't want to give too much
Okay.
away.
All right, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't take a nosedive, but comment down in the section below if you want some more, man. Don't forget, we got a giveaway going, iPhone 14 Pro Max. All you have to do is click on the link below. Send me a screenshot in my at the email, cbornsnapper@gmail.com, and get yourself in this drawing, man. Get you a free expensive phone. So
the 14. The email address is also going to be down there too.
It's the link, and then it's the email.
All right, guys.
All right, man. We appreciate y'all.
Video.
See you on the next one, man.
Yeah.
Bye.